Hey, what's up, everybody? I want to welcome you to another episode of the Dreamers Pro Daily Recap, where we give you a recap of all of the hot topics that we covered that day. You can catch them in their long format and also catch it fully streaming for free on Apple Podcasts. This is a mega one. This right here is a mega story. And let me tell y'all something. I am absolutely elated about this news, and it's about damn time. For those of you who don't know, the greatest player to ever play the sport, Michael Jordan, has been tapped by NBC Sports to become a special contributor to the NBC Sports NBA coverage. And I am elated for this. I think this is the best news NBA fans have gotten in a very long time. Before I even get into the details of this report, let me just say this. I think one of the reasons Michael Jordan came back is because the amount of clutch sports plants, the amount of clowns that we have, former NBA players and creators that talk basketball, has run a damn muck. We got too many bozo dudes talking basketball. And I think Michael Jordan sat back and said to himself, I am sick and tired of all of these clown moron buffoons up here destroying my legacy, distorting what the sport is. And now it's time for the GOAT to come back and pretty much regulate on these dudes. And let me tell y'all something. Now that Michael Jordan has finally decided to step into the sports media space, his voice takes precedent above everybody. Your LeBron James, your all of these guys that y'all love to quote, they can all step to the side, because nobody in their right mind is going to question Michael Jordan and say, oh no, Michael Jordan is wrong or Michael Jordan is a hater, because you're going to look like a super idiot. A super duper idiot. If you're that dude, NBA player or not, questioning the words coming out of Michael Jordan's mouth. Okay, so let's get into what this report here has to say. This one is from NBC News. It says, Michael Jordan to join NBC Sports NBA coverage as special contributor. Six-time NBA champion Michael Jordan will join NBC Sports coverage as a special contributor this fall. It was announced Monday. I'm so excited to see the NBA back on NBC, Jordan said in a statement. The NBA and NBC was a meaningful part of my career, and I'm excited about being a special contributor to the project. I'm looking forward to seeing you all when the NBA and NBC launches this October. The announcement was made during NBC Universal's upfront presentation in New York City. NBC Sports president Rick Cordella said he was incredibly proud to have the basketball legend join the coverage. Michael's legacy, both on and off the court, speak for itself, Cordella said. Jordan, considered by many as the greatest NBA player of all time, won 6 championships with Chicago Bulls and just as many NBA Finals MVPs. He is a 14-time NBA All-Star and has 10 scoring titles. He won the Olympic gold medal with Team USA in Los Angeles in 1984 and Barcelona in 1992. Last year, NBC Universal and NBA announced an 11-year deal to broadcast NBA and WNBA regular season and playoff games beginning with the 2025-26 season. Peacock will live stream exclusive national Monday night games. NBC and Peacock will have national coverage of regional doubleheaders on Tuesday nights, while NBC Sports will launch Sunday night basketball next year. Former NBA players Jamal Crawford and Reggie Miller will serve as game analysts, and Carmelo Anthony will be a studio analyst. So you heard what the article had to say. This is dreadful news for these buffoons. This is dreadful news because the big dog just walked into the room. And now it's over for you dudes. What I'm waiting to see is what bozo NBA players are going to step up first and lose all credibility by criticizing Michael Jordan. I'm waiting to see who is willing to step out first, or who is stupid enough to believe that we're going to listen to you over Michael Jordan. Who's going to be first? Who's going to be first? This is a nightmare for the narrative creators. A nightmare. A nightmare. And I used to sit back and say to myself, Lord, when will Michael Jordan ever speak up and refute some of the stupid things these guys are saying? This is their worst nightmare. It quite literally is their worst nightmare. All of this, let's control the narrative and say, oh, well, you didn't ever play basketball, so you don't get the right to speak. So who? What NBA player? Who is the guy? Then when Michael Jordan goes out there and says a particular thing, man, I think MJ is wrong, and expects to be taken seriously after that. Who is going to be the dude? You know Michael Jordan's words are going to carry way more gravity than LeBron James and Mind the Game. Y'all are aware of that, right? You're all aware of that, right? I know these LeBron clutch sports media plants, their fans are hating this news. Because what these guys were trying to do is blanket the entire sports media ecosystem with their nonsense and their honey slinging. And now the GOAT has decided to step into the fray and talk. Who is going to be the bozo that steps up and says, man, Mike don't know what he's talking about? Who is it going to be? Because the minute whoever it is says that, all NBA basketball fans are going to look at you and say, if Michael Jordan doesn't know what he's talking about, then who the hell are you? Who in the hell are you to talk? If he don't know, then what are you saying? Then they're going to say, what qualifies your opinion to have any weight compared to his? And they all going to fall to the wayside. They're all going to fall to the wayside. And I love it. The twerking, the honey slinging has gone on long enough. Let's get another perspective out there that's usually most likely going to be diametrically opposed to a lot of the nonsense that these guys are propagating in the sports media world. I love it. I love it. Now that Michael Jordan is going to be talking, you're going to see us talking more about Michael Jordan because he's now going to be relevant. He's going to be relevant. I know LeBron fans are pissed because they think whenever he opens up his mouth to speak on his podcast, everything he says, oh, but it's coming from LeBron James. Well, guess what? A person is better than LeBron James is back. And y'all going to have to deal with it. Y'all going to have to deal with it. So who's going to be the creator? Who is it going to be? Who's going to be the NBA player? Man, Mike don't know what he's talking about. I'm waiting to see. We are all waiting to see who's going to be the first one to step forward and get their whole reputation destroyed for hating on the GOAT. You see, y'all could do it because y'all know MJ not going to respond. But now, if he's on NBC Sports as a special contributor and they ask him, hey, Michael, what do you think about this? What do you think about that? And you got to react to Michael Jordan. And you got to be the guy that goes out there, man, Mike don't know what he's talking about. Mike don't know what he's talking about. You expect your audience to take you seriously after that. Because you are who in comparison to Michael Jordan? You are who? You can take all of the guys talking sports right now that are NBA guys, put them together. None of them have one-tenth of the gravity that Michael Jordan has. Not, you can put all of them together. Is that serious? Because the dude that paved the way for a lot of these dudes to even get paid, he's coming back. And you're going to look like a super bozo criticizing him. A super bozo. Boy, I cannot wait. I love it. And it's about damn time. Right before I traveled, I came across a video from a creator. I can't remember his name right now. If I watch another one of his videos, I'll probably mention his name, but I forgot his name. It was a dude in a car, black guy in a car. And he was essentially talking about the people like Wright and Shannon Sharpe that essentially have sold their souls to Clutch Sports and all of these guys for a bag to just sit up there and go out there and try to tarnish the legacy of people like Michael Jordan and Kobe Bryant. And as he was talking, he was referring to some concrete evidence exposing these guys for just basically going up there and twerking it up all day long and lying, changing their position for a bag or for expediency in the media space. Hey, let's hate on Jordan. Let's hate on Kobe. That's a fast way to get some fans. And he exposed them. And as I was reading through the tweets from these guys, in this case, we're talking about Shannon Sharpe and Nick Wright, I'm like, this just exposes the game these guys have been trying to play. And they've been able to pull the wool over so many NBA fans to the point where people think these guys are actually serious, when in reality, they're not. So these are the tweets that I want to highlight today. And I want to talk about a tweet that Nick Wright put out there, that Shannon Sharpe put out there about Kobe Bryant and Michael Jordan, and how it all of a sudden changed. Number 2 in 2011. And then by the time we got to 2016, 17, he went to like number 9. Now, the problem is a lot of the people that moved on these guys' lists had already retired. So how are they moving up and down the list? How did at one point Kareem jump Michael Jordan when Kareem and Jordan had been retired by the time Nick Wright put up that post in 2012? Kareem and Jordan had been retired. So how is it possible that let me see, was Kareem even in his top 10? No, he had Akeem. So how did Kareem jump Michael Jordan when he had already been retired? What new information did you see? What new statistics came out since that period? Folks, what this list is essentially exposing is that these guys changed their opinion for money. We later on found out that Nick Wright was being represented by Clutch Sports. That's a fact. Okay? And a lot of people in media are. That's a fact. In the case of Shannon, he had been accused of being paid under the table by Clutch Sport to give the views that he gives, that his opinions can be swayed for money. Who said this? Joy Taylor and Steven Jackson on a segment on FS1, where they said, we heard a rumor that Shannon Sharpe's opinions can be bought. That if you pay him money, he will go up there and twerk it up for you. That's what they said. That's not what I said. That's what his coworkers said. And Steven Jackson said, I heard the same thing too. So let me tell y'all what's happening. Okay. Let me tell you guys what's happening in the sports media space. A lot of guys have figured out there are a few ways to gain attraction in sports media, in this case of basketball. Number 1, give outlandish takes. Like Michael Jordan isn't great. His era isn't great. That's a good way to get some of these younger fans who don't know anything to buy into their BS. So that's one thing. Another thing is to say LeBron is better than Michael Jordan, or LeBron is better than Kobe Bryant. You're going to get a lot of fans that do that, right? And that's how these guys have figured out a way to gain traction. Put out ridiculous takes, and then all of a sudden you get an audience because your takes are what we would call rage bait. And once people buy into your nonsense and endure your BS, then all of a sudden you have a following of a bunch of mindless tweets and twats running all over the place. Twits and twats running all over the place, hollering, screaming the nonsense that comes out of your mouth. And essentially that's what it's become. And this guy is saying these guys moving their list around to their top 10s. Not like the only player that's benefited from their top 10s is LeBron James. That's it. The only player that has benefited from their top 10 is LeBron James. How Kobe goes from being right next to God and Michael Jordan in 2011, and then by 2012, which is 4 years later after he retires, he's now 9. How did that happen, Shannon Sharpe? What happened? Oh, we all know what happened. The honey brigade came through. And you essentially said, I'm ready to twerk if y'all ready to work. And that's exactly what the hell happened. Twerkation started. And these guys started bending themselves like pretzels. And all of a sudden you start hearing these ridiculous takes. But nobody takes these guys seriously. At least I don't. You wouldn't believe the amount of guys that are represented by Clutch or affiliated with. You won't even believe the volume of these guys. And they all have one thing in common. They're up there to kiss LeBron's butt and take shots at Michael Jordan in one way or the other. This is the common thread between these bozos. And we're going to talk about it. We're going to talk. During my transit on my way to get to New York, it seems like a lot of things had transpired throughout that time. And one of the stories I came across, and I got to give credit where credit is due, I saw it on my man Marcellus Wiley's page, was some comments that Charles Barkley made during a recent sit-down that he had with Outkick, where he was essentially talking about what it's going to be like for him working at ESPN. Now, I have foreshadowed this particular thing. I spoke about this. I said that I think Charles Barkley working at ESPN is going to be absolutely fireworks. Why? Because all they seem to do at ESPN on a daily basis is sit up there and twerk it up all day long. This is something that I've talked about. They sit up there, they holler and scream about, oh, LeBron and Lakers going to do this, LeBron and Lakers going to do that. I think personally that they just dangle the carrot in front of Laker fans to get them to buy in, get them to tune in, and then the minute they don't win, all of a sudden, they start the blame game, and then right after that, if the Lakers make 1 or 2 moves this offseason, next thing you know, next year they're going to be contenders. And this is the pattern that they use every single year. And one of the people that have been calling them out for years had been Charles Barkley. He had never hit his feelings about that. He said ESPN got a bunch of damn fools working at the network. He even went at Kendrick Perkins, right? To the point where Kendrick Perkins went at him and all of this. And Charles is like, they're just a bunch of idiots. So during this sit down that he had on Outkick, he was talking about what it's going to be like working at ESPN. And Charles Barkley, in no uncertain terms, said that he will not bow down to anybody at that network that thinks they're going to force him to either kiss LeBron's butt on a daily basis or praise the Lakers every single day. He said it's something they're not going to do. And if they dare to fire me, they're going to be owing me money for a very, very, very long time. So what we want to do now is we're going to play exactly what Charles Barkley had to say on Outkick, and then we're going to come back and react to his comments. Take a listen to what Charles had to say here.
And you've been critical of ESPN, particularly their coverage of the Lakers. What are your thoughts as this is your last season heading over?
Yeah, Dan, I'm not going to change. I'm going to do what I want to do. Nobody's going to tell me what to say or what to do. I thought I get upset. They're like the Lakers are contenders. I'm like, no, they're not. No, they're not contenders. Kendrick Perkins, who don't know his ass from a hole in the wall. He's like, the Lakers are contenders. Lakers are contenders, and I said they're not contenders. And clearly, if you lose in the first round, you're not a contender. But I'm not going to change my personality. Ain't nobody, they can't fire me. I make too much money to get fired. So they can't fire me. First of all, they fire me. They got to pay me for 7 years, and I'm going to quit way before then. But if they want to fire me, I would love for them to do that. The only decision we've been making is how long I'm going to work. And I've been going back and forth with TNT for the last 2 months, whether I'm going to work 2 years or 3 years. But if I really wanted to, I could stay for 7 years, which there's no chance of that happening. Zero. But I have made it. I'm making a decision whether I'm going to stay 2 years or 3 years, but it's more likely 2 years. But if they're going to fire me, they'd have to pay me for 7, which they're not going to do because I make too much money. So I'm not worried about getting fired. And nobody at ESPN is going to tell me what to say or do, period.
Fantastic. So you heard what he had to say. What are my thoughts about this? Folks, it's going to be fireworks. It is going to be fireworks when Charles Barkley touches down. He's not going for it. Nor should he. And I think that it could potentially create a lot of problems. And I'm going to tell you why. The people at ESPN, the amalgamation of talent that they have at that network, is a certain they have this kind of certain weird ass energy to them where it's like, I couldn't see myself getting along with a lot of people at ESPN. Just they got this kind of weird like chummy. We all have this kind of lockstep in how we think, and I just feel like it'll be something weird. And the energy that Charles, Kenny, Shaq, especially Charles and Shaq have, I don't think it will mesh well with these people. So I think it's going to be extremely exciting when you have Charles Barkley make guest appearances on some of their other shows, maybe like Get Up or ESPN First Take, when you have a panel of people sitting up there twerking it up all day long, and then you bring in a Charles Barkley who has his own ideas, who is not up there trying to kiss butt to some of these players like a lot of these people do at ESPN. You can rarely get an honest take from anybody at ESPN, and whenever you do, it makes headlines. And I think it's going to make it awkward for a lot of people. I really do believe so. I do believe next season you're going to see tweets from LeBron James and Draymond Green and all of these guys complaining about what Charles Barkley said because he refuses to twerk it up. He refuses to twerk for these guys. And I think that that's something that is going to ruffle some feathers. Because in order to work at that network, you must twerk. You must sit up there and holler and scream. So I think it's going to be fantastic. And Charles is probably looking at this thing from the standpoint of as well. Hey, look, you guys gave Pat McAfee a long ass leash for him to pretty much go up there and say whatever he wants to do. And you guys don't impede his progress. So why should you impede mine? Charles is looking at it from that standpoint as well. And look, if Pat McAfee has the freedom to say what he believes, say what he really thinks, I think Charles Barkley should have that same freedom as well. Because he's the best in the business when it comes to basketball. Like, he's the best. He's better than Stephen A. Smith. He's better than Shea. He's better than all of them. He's the best. So to me, I love the position Charles is taking. Because he's letting them know from the onset. Don't be surprised when you have a panel of 3 people that are up there talking about just how good the Lakers are going to be, and you see me say, man, you guys just up here lying to these people. It's going to get awkward. It's going to get awkward because these people are professional liars. Professional. They have PhDs in lying. So it's going to be awkward, and I'm going to love every single second of it, folks. So these are my thoughts. What I want to know from you guys is simply this. How do you think Charles meshes at ESPN? Do you think it's going to cause drama at the network? And ultimately, do you think if Charles Barkley strays too far from their set narratives and all of that, ESPN is ultimately going to pull the plug on him and say, hey, look, you can't work here no more.